Hi guys, welcome back to another video, I guess. Anyway, today we'll be reacting to Exploring Dungeons and Dragons, The Beholder. Now the main reason for this is I'm really curious about D&D, and I thought, why the hell not? And you get a little backstory on what I think is a D&D monster. Also, this might be the last video you see the default character here, because I'm actually working on my own. And let's just say, it's close to being done. AKA, I still need to make the clothes. And no, I didn't make it with ginormous boobs. I know one of you out there watching this video thought that. Anyway, let's press play and see what will happen.
Beholders. Stalking through a dungeon in search of treasure, you turn a corner and come face to face with a floating mass of flesh. A great eye in the center, and a dozen smaller eyes on stalks, each staring you down.
I prefer the one from the Monster Girl Encyclopedia.
An alien, intelligent, and extremely hostile creature, determined and
that is a great looking piece of artwork, actually.
Well, perhaps not the most iconic monster in Dungeons & Dragons.
That belongs to the dragons.
Of course, belonging to the dragons.
Because they're also in the title.
Become synonymous with D&D, and is one of the few creatures that Wizards of the Coast does not allow others to freely use. Beholders are one of the oldest creatures in D&D's publication history, and are one of the first monsters to be uniquely created for D&D, instead of being borrowed or recreated.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Let's look first at their out-of-universe history, and then see why exactly Beholders are so fearsome.
Also, this video is by the Exploring series.
In the Greyhawk supplement for original D&D, released in 1975.
Oh, that looks terrible.
The release of the original game.
That just looks terrible.
Although Gary Gygax detailed the Beholder for the supplement, its original creator was Rob Kuntz's brother, Terry Kuntz.
Kill it with fire.
Important enough to be shown on the cover of the Greyhawk supplement, and its image would also be used on the covers of the AD&D 2nd Edition Monstrous Compendium.
This looks much better.
And the 5th Edition Monster Manual.
This one looks way better.
It would of course go on to be featured in every edition of AD&D, along with a large number of Beholder variants presented in other monster manuals and supplements. Beholders feature prominently in the outer space adventures of the Spelljammer setting, but we'll maybe save that for another time. There have been countless modules written featuring Beholders, sometimes as a mere obstacle in the adventurer's path,
Eye of Pain,
a powerful one, or sometimes as the primary villain. Undoubtedly, the greatest source of information about Beholders is the book I, Tyrant, written for AD&D 2nd Edition in 1996.
Not gonna lie, but they just look like a floating testicle.
Entirely about the creatures, detailing information about their biology, their diets, their variations, their history, their societies, their cities, and their psychology. In keeping in line with the Aboleth video, however, and to keep things a little modern, I'll be again using a chapter from the Lords of Madness supplement written for D&D 3.5 edition in 2005.
AKA related to Mind Flayers.
The average Beholder is pretty large, with a body about 8 feet wide.
Oh, that's a face only a mother can love.
Become smaller or larger than that, and they typically weigh around 4,000 or 5,000 pounds.
That's
the skin
heavy.
Covering most of the Beholder's body is as strong as steel, and can vary wildly in color between different Beholders. Each Beholder possesses a wide mouth, filled with long, sharp teeth, and a sensitive tongue that they use to feel objects. In general, a Beholder cannot sense
In what
objects
way,
as well as,
pray
say,
tell?
a human, as their sense of touch is nearly
Me going
atrophied,
to a very
besides
dark part of my
their
mind
sense of
related to
taste is
perversion.
gone. and they smell through thousands of tiny
Sorry if you heard a
openings in
thud
their
there.
skin.
Accidentally hit the
They
mic.
can hear fairly well, though, and their eyesight is, of course, exceptional.
No shit, they have
A
multiple
beholder
of them.
possesses one
And one
larger eye in the
huge
center of the
eye.
body, and then a number of smaller eyes connected by stalks to the beholder's body, typically around 10. Rather than being spongy
This
and
looks
soft,
like my
a
stepmother.
beholder's eyes are remarkably hard and solid, akin to stones.
Or how I see her
Using all of
anyway.
its various eyes, a beholder can constantly see all around itself, even in the dark, and possesses enough visual acuity to count
And
the
in the case
legs
of my
on a
stepmother,
mosquito
they can
from over
also
100 feet away.
see when they're asleep.
The interior of a beholder is a tangled mess of tubes, sacs, coils,
I guess
and other
the
organs
green
that are
part is
largely
the brain.
alien to human understanding. There is no
No
single organ
shit.
responsible for a beholder's flotation, but instead every internal organ is naturally buoyant and retains its
Huh.
buoyancy for up to 12 hours after being removed from the beholder's body. This
Neato.
buoyancy is rather inexplicable, as almost none of the organs aside from the lungs contains any significant amount of air or natural gas. A beholder moves by utilizing bursts of air expelled through the thousands of openings in its skin.
AKA
A
farts.
beholder's skeletal system is really more of just a large skull,
It
but
just
the material that comprises
farts
this skull is almost identical to
move.
its skin, meaning that it's hard, inflexible, and incredibly light. The creature's digestive system works by breaking down consumed food into liquid in its stomach, and then pumping the liquefied remains into the beholder's lung, where the remains are mixed with air and become a frothy pink fluid.
Ugh.
This fluid is pumped through thousands of small arteries into other organs until all of the nutrients have been drained, at which point the remaining liquid is funneled back to the creature's mouth, where it is either forcefully expelled, or more commonly, dribbles out as a foul drool.
Now that's
As for
disgusting.
reproduction, beholders are all gender neutral, and typically reproduce only once in their lives, typically in their first 40 years. The creature's womb is located underneath the back of its tongue, and they will generally carry up to 12 young in this womb for 6 months before giving birth. By that point, the womb has swollen to the point of preventing the beholder from eating food, and the beholder will remain hidden in its lair until the young are born. During the birthing process, the womb is regurgitated out of the mouth and bitten off, where it will then hover in the air until the young beholders chew their way out of the fleshy mass. The baby beholders that don't resemble the parent enough are quickly consumed by the parent, and the remaining children are forced out of the lair a few hours later to fend for
First off, that's
themselves.
both cruel and disgusting.
The most remarkable
I
feature
mean,
of beholders are the
seriously.
rays of magical energy that they are able to emit from their various eyes. A beholder actually absorbs magical energy through their eyes by looking at different sources of magic, including spells, magical creatures, magical relics.
Imagine one of
tongues,
these
or
guys
even by
looking
at
at
their own
Megumin
eye
while she
rays in
fires her
action.
explosion magic.
They siphon off very little energy from the magical source in this process, and they can build up a tolerance if they view the same source for a prolonged period of time, leading many beholders to hoard a whole wealth of magical relics and books. Each of their eyes possesses a different magical ability that the beholder can shoot out in the
One
form of a ray.
explosion.
The central eye of a beholder typically releases an anti-magic field in front of it that suppresses magical effects, including that from its own eye rays. But that still leaves the beholder with a large, pointy mouth to fight with.
Also, if you see me do like
The
this,
effects of the smaller
my
eyes
hands
vary
actually
quite a bit,
don't
but
twist
generally
around
they
when I
include
do.
powerful abilities such
So
as paralyzation, petrification,
I'm actually
disintegration,
scratching
or
myself
just
somewhere.
outright killing a target.
Ooh.
Lesser but still highly
That
dangerous
guy got
effects include
impaled.
being put to sleep, being slowed, or being charmed into harming your allies.
Yes,
As
and
long
then
as the
having
beholder
the
has
urge
magical energy
to
stored in its brain and
do
its eyes are
unspeakable
functioning,
things with the
it can
beholder.
continue to barrage targets
After
with
killing your
various
buddies.
effects until they are no longer a threat. In comparison
Damn
to aboleths, who have been around
ads.
since time immemorial, beholders
Be
typically have
gone.
a very short lifespan, relatively. A newborn beholder will develop its eye rays after several months of observing magic, which might take up to a
Neat.
year if born in a magic scarce area. A
Neato.
beholder will reach adult size in around 2 years and won't grow much more after that point. By around age 100, if a beholder isn't killed before then,
Hmm.
their eye stalks will begin to wither away and lose power, and it's very rare for a normal beholder to live past the age of 120. Of course, in a world of magic, with creatures determined to hoard and observe magical effects, it's not unheard of for particularly intelligent beholders to use magic to extend their lives,
No
possibly for
shit.
several hundred years. Beholders don't ever really stop growing, so it's said that these ancient creatures can be nearly 20 feet in diameter. Rarely, a beholder of a different variety might be born, called an elder orb, that is
Ooh.
effectively immortal. Unless killed by adventurers or by some terrible disease, elder orbs can live forever and maintain their intelligence, and of course, they can become truly dangerous foes.
They can
A
speak
more common,
human.
less dangerous kin of the beholder is the gout, at about half the size of normal, and lacking the truly deadly eye rays of the beholders.
That guy
So,
looks like he's on
beholders are
drugs.
large, intelligent, mobile, and magically powerful. So, what's stopping them from becoming the dominant race?
They're
Well,
dumb.
opposable thumbs for one, but more
Oh, well,
importantly,
I thought they were dumb.
beholders are by and large insane.
Huh.
Rather than falling into chaos, however,
Eh,
this
wasn't that far
inherent
off.
insanity leads most beholders to adhere to similar patterns of isolation and hatred of other forms of life, most notably, other beholders. Each beholder typically sees themselves as being the greatest example of their species, and will fly into an insane
So, they're
rage at
Russian
the sight
too?
of another beholder, often with the goal of slaying the rival creature. In an ambush scenario, these fights end rather quickly for one side. But if both beholders face each other equally, the anti-magic fields projected by both tend to make the fights vicious and savage affairs, filled with sharp teeth tearing through flesh. Every society has outcasts, though, including beholders, and these creatures are considered the most sane of beholders, usually establishing lairs underneath cities in order to form shadowy organizations and cults using their intellect and their magical ability to charm humanoids. Often, most members of these organizations will have no idea a beholder is actually in charge, as the creature will use various proxies in order to secretly run things. Sometimes, however, members will be very aware of the beholder's presence and will indeed worship it,
This art looks
becoming a beholder
great
cult.
too.
Particularly insane members of these cults might gouge out their eyes or their foreheads and graft in a beholder's eye as part of a dark ritual.
AKA, they're
Even
nuts.
more worrisome is the existence of beholder hives, congregations of beholders ruled by an especially unique type of beholder called a hive mother, who possesses the magical ability to dominate and control other beholders.
Now that's a
Hive
force to be
mothers
reckoned
believe
with.
they exist in order to bring unity to
By
the
the sound of
beholder
it.
race, and build their hives so that they may one day rule the world. Obviously, a beholder hive represents a grave threat.
No
But
shit.
that's what adventurers are for. Depending on the location and goals of a beholder, they might utilize a number of other creatures for different purposes,
Or depending on
generally
the
by
dungeon
charming them
master.
into service. Beholders operating in a city will employ minions as spies, assassins, or representatives in social situations. Beholders hiding out in a remote lair might use minions as gatherers to travel great distances in search of magical artifacts, or other minions. Almost all beholders, however, will use different minions as guardians of their lairs, from various monsters and animals to wayward adventurers or bandits.
Mostly
In a running
probably
theme,
bandits.
if it's a powerful, intelligent creature, it's likely to have lesser creatures as protection. Although beholders are perhaps not as majestic as dragons or as purely terrifying as the Tarrasque, they are undoubtedly one of the fan favorites of Dungeons & Dragons monsters. They're one
Really?
of the creatures that are uniquely associated with D&D,
Rose
even
Net
making an
20. Ooh.
appearance in the ill-fated Dungeons and Dragons film.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
This
one.
series won't be specifically focusing only on powerful creatures in
Love to get my
D&D,
hands on that
but I couldn't pass
staff
on
that
the
summons red
insane
dragons,
floating
you know,
balls that absorb magic through their eyes
and
and
cause the
shoot out
apocalypse.
disintegration rays.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yada yada yada. Can hope for their replacement. True. Just two of them. Great mother. All others are pretenders. Yada yada yada. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I said at the start of the video, this might be the last time you see this cute lolly anime girl, and it will be replaced with an avatar. Ugh, sorry, that I made myself. Side note, putting bones in hair is not all that difficult as I thought. Anyway, see you in the next one, guys. Bye.